I can't believe what's happening at Hollis Hall. While our defensive coordinator needs to find replacements for an injured superstar, our franchise quarterback is struggling more than expected on the practice field. But wait, because the connection we've all been waiting for is finally taking shape. If you thought this training camp was going to be boring, you're completely crazy. Don't move because this is just the beginning. I can't believe what's happening at Hollis Hall right now. While we all thought this training camp would be a celebration, it turns out we have situations ranging from concerning to exciting. But do you think this will stop us? I tell you this. Chicago Bears weren't built to be easy. They were built to be legendary. And what I'm going to tell you today will show you exactly why this organization, under Ryan Poles, is making the right decisions even when things get toughed out first. Let's talk about something that has Ben Johnson being brutally honest about our franchise quarterback. Second, the injury that's keeping our defensive superstar sidelined and what Ryan Poles is doing about it. And third, the connection we've all been waiting for between Williams and Odunze that's finally taking shape. But here comes the really crazy part. Ben Johnson isn't holding back when he talks about Caleb Williams. And you know what? That's exactly what we need to hear. Johnson was straightforward. Not much gets carried over from what he was asked to do last year. Now we're asking him to be a bit more structured in terms of plays. Sometimes there are multiple calls, shifts, movements. There's a lot more mentally going on than he's probably ever had. Do you understand what this means? I tell you this. After years of seeing quarterbacks who couldn't handle the mental pressure of playing in Chicago, we finally have a coordinator who isn't afraid to push our quarterback to the limit. Remember when we thought Trubisky was the answer? Nitrogen monoxide way. Trubisky never had to face this level of mental complexity. Johnson is building something that goes beyond what we've seen in Chicago since ever. Johnson added, at some point, it's going to start to slow down, and he'll be able to catch up, and his physical ability will take over from there. But right now, because mentally it is what it is, he's playing a little slower than what he's capable of. And you know why this is great for Chicago? Because we finally have a coordinator who's not trying to make things easy. The Packers have had the luxury of veteran quarterbacks for decades. But we're building something from the ground up with the right mindset. I believe this is exactly what Caleb needs. After a rookie season where the system didn't maximize his potential, now we have someone who's willing to challenge him mentally. That's Navy and Orange, baby. If that surprises you, wait to hear this. Ryan Poles had to face a bombshell this week when Jalen Johnson got injured during off-season training and will miss most of the training camp. Johnson, coming off his second consecutive Pro Bowl and in the second year of a 4-year, $76 million contract, injured his leg during off-season training. But here's the crazy thing. Poles isn't panicking. Do you think this is a coincidence? I tell you this. Poles has been preparing this organization for exactly these situations. Terrell Smith, our 5th-round pick from 2023, is going to have the chance to show why this organization trusts in him. We have a lot of faith that he will put in the time to rehab and be his full self when he returns. Poles said on Tuesday, we're not overly concerned about a long-term injury. And you know what's most impressive about all this? That Poles already had Plan B. Nick McLeod and Trey Flowers weren't signed by chance. This is the difference between the Ryan Pace administration and Ryan Poles. Poles thinks 3 moves ahead. I believe this injury, though not ideal, will demonstrate the depth we've built. While the Packers rely on aging veterans, we're developing young talent that can compete immediately. And when you thought we were done, the connection we've all been waiting for between Caleb Williams and Rome, Odunze is finally taking shape in spectacular fashion. In the 2-minute drill on Saturday, when the Bears were struggling in the red zone, who did Williams turn to? Rome. Odunze. And it was no coincidence. It was the same play they connected last year against the Colts for Williams' first career touchdown. A year under our belt definitely helps us continue building that, Odunze said. With the new offense, learning it together and having the knowledge of playing in the NFL season, and having those games and then putting that into this offense and building that connection that way. I think it's great too. And not just being like two rookies trying to figure it out. Now we have a little something to build on. Do you understand the importance of this? I tell you this. They're no longer two rookies lost trying to figure out the NFL. They're two players who've seen real fire, who know the pressure of playing in Chicago, and who now have a system that can maximize them. And here's what gets me more excited. Odunze is competing every day against Nashin Wright, a 6'4" cornerback challenging him in ways he didn't have last year. Not many cornerbacks 6'4", 6'5" out there with his capabilities and quickness and agility. So it's been a challenge going against him every day. I'm glad we have a guy like that on the roster to compete against him and then make the games a little easier. That's what I want to hear. Internal competition that raises the level of everyone, while other teams have to look for external competition. We're creating it internally. And you know what's the craziest thing about all this? That Odunze also has to compete for the ball with Colston Loveland, the rookie tight end from Michigan who's already impressing everyone. He's a baller, but I hate him, Odunze joked. Michigan guy. Can't stand him. No, he got the ring over. Me. Got his signing bonus the other day. That guy's got it all. I believe this internal competition is exactly what we need. Luther Burden is still injured, but when he returns, we're going to have a competition for the ball that will elevate everyone's level. Ben Johnson is asking all receivers to know all positions. In our room, it's an expectation we need to know everything going on the field, said Odunze. When it comes to concepts, we learn all the different positions. We need to be very aware of those things and have knowledge because you never know what position you have to play. That's Navy and Orange, baby. A system that demands excellence, that demands versatility, that demands every player be more than their position dot. Do you think this is a coincidence? I tell you this. This is what separates winning organizations from losing ones. The details, the preparation, the internal competition. After years of watching this team settle for mediocrity, we finally have an organization that doesn't accept excuses. Johnson is mentally challenging Williams. Poles is prepared for any adversity, and our players are competing at the highest level. Every day, Chicago doesn't play. And this training camp is showing exactly why this season is going to be different from anything we've seen in years. Day Bears. Do you think Ben Johnson's brutal honesty about Williams is exactly what we need? Or would you prefer him to be more protective? Is Ryan Poles handling Johnson's injury correctly, or should they have signed more defensive depth? And what do you think about the Williams-Odunze connection? Will this be the duo that takes us back to the playoffs? I tell you this Chicago Bears fan community is a family, and we need each of you to be part of this conversation. Leave me your comments, your opinions, your predictions for this season. If you think this is the year Chicago finally returns to greatness, give this video a like. If you want to keep getting the most in-depth and honest analysis about our Bears, subscribe and turn on the bell because I guarantee we'll have more. Explosive news tomorrow, and you can't miss what's coming for Chicago. This city deserves a winning team, and this organization is finally making the right decisions to give us exactly that. See you in the next video, Bears family. Bear down.